Welcome back to the That's Fire podcast. This is a bit unusual, don't do an intro, but today we're at the New Zealand's National Field Days. It's the biggest sort of agricultural show in the country. And yeah, today I'm actually with Brent McConnell, who has possibly got, you better tell me, it seems to be the most popular clothing brand in New Zealand.
Oh, Mike. Firstly, Mystery Creek Field Days in Hamilton, New Zealand.
Yeah.
How good is that?
Yeah, so good, so good.
So good.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your comment. I guess our big mission is to just keep doing better.
Yeah.
But it is very humbling seeing how many people come into the Stoney Creek site and just enjoy the whole experience, which is great.
It is. It's insane. It's got to be completely unique. And from my perspective, definitely in New Zealand, I've never seen this anywhere in any other show I've been to where you can have a tent that massive and it's just packed full of people. I know Luke's taken some video of it, so people are able to see that while we're chatting. I'll just be keen to, you're not going to be able to sort of unpack how you've done that in a podcast, but what has been some of the key success factors, or what's behind this? What's the story behind it?
Outside of making the most important thing is to make more better decisions than bad ones.
Okay.
So that's kind of been quite good,
That's good,
But no, people and product.
People and product.
Yeah. So
in that order?
Absolutely.
Or would you put product before the people?
No, people.
People and
People.
Okay.
Yeah. So having a great team and having a team with skill set that complements each other.
Yeah.
And obviously a purpose and a vision, super important.
Yeah.
And obviously that. But then for us, accompanying that with fantastic product.
Yeah.
And having a clear purpose around that.
Yeah.
It's pretty much our recipe, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So with the people, is it about when you mean people, do you mean culture? Do you mean talent? Do you what is it about the people part?
For me, culture, like good culture, is everything somebody will say about you and the brand without you being in the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you think about it like that.
Yeah.
So for us, I need people that understand myself.
Yeah.
And understand what we're about.
Yeah.
And just have the same empathy for what we're about.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the first part of the win. And then the second part is using their, educated skill set that I don't have.
Yes.
That then accompanies what we're trying to achieve.
So that's what you're saying is part of the challenge is actually having the team, the talent and the business that have the skill set that you don't have.
Absolutely,
yeah. And I guess as the business gets bigger, being able to surround yourself with that.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think when you're younger too, I was talking to someone about this the other day, I don't know about yourself, but when you're younger, you're able to do a lot more. And as you get a bit older, you're kind of like, I can't do this, so you actually have to rely on good people, yeah?
Yeah. I think that, the product side is super, super important. That either gets let down, it's major, but just touching on the people side is just that, as you get older, you can't do it all, but you hopefully get a bit wiser.
Yeah.
And you make better decisions.
Yeah.
And you're less urgent.
Yeah.
However,
interesting.
Educated skill set and understanding what you're trying to achieve is, that's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we will talk about the product because your product is exceptional. But before we move on to that, we're thinking of people, and maybe it's a product conversation, but like literally, I can look across here and I can see Stoney Creek everywhere. There seems to be your brand, the perception around the brand.
Yeah.
Is that a product and a people thing, or is it just a product?
I think, I know the product has to back up what we stand for. Yeah. Because we all know that if we don't have a fantastic fire, and it produces cold air, it's not that great. So for us, the product is super, super important.
Yeah.
But for me, people is everything. Culture is everything.
Yeah.
So to answer your question, is the Stoney Creek brand is all about the people, the community that use it, wear it, and we're all about our social responsibility, our environmental responsibility,
Right. Okay.
and that's huge too. And so
Yeah.
our voice is important.
Yeah.
And so for us, just keeping it real.
Yeah.
You know, we're just the same as everybody else,
Yeah.
trying to make a living.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
yeah.
we want to grow good people,
Yeah.
be better ourselves,
Yeah.
and influence and help communities for the good.
Yeah.
So that's essentially what we do.
Yeah, and I know you do that as well, and we could maybe have a whole podcast just about that. But what have it been like to fill a tent with that many people? I don't know how many thousands of people. You would maybe have a head count. Do you have a sense of how many thousands have walked through in the last few days?
I'm such an uneducated person,
Right.
Mike. I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know.
Yeah, no, there's lots.
There's lots.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trying to get a picture because I don't think people can understand just the massive crowd of people coming through.
I guess for the offshore or people outside of New Zealand, to give it a number, I guess there's more than 150 odd thousand people come through these gates in a very short time frame.
Yeah.
And I would be very surprised if 90% of them haven't been through a Stoney Creek.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a massive amount of people that all wearing the product. So could you try to define it? Okay, we talked people and product, but what else is there? How have you created that brand presence? Has it just come out of the people and product, or has there been some other sort of marketing secrets that you've managed to pull out of the back pocket? You know?
Yeah, I guess clear vision is my thing. So there's no secret. So we're about purpose-built products.
Right.
So we want to build purpose-built products for one thing alone, and that's to maximise the wearer's experience. So we want to maximise your experience in any activity that we provide for, and that's just everything. You know?
Purpose-built products, and when you say it, I now understand it when I think of your products.
Yeah.
So, because I imagine with a lot of brands and stuff, they're just getting the cheapest product, or they're just getting the product.
Yeah.
Whereas what I'm hearing you describe is you've got a guy who's a hunter, or he's a fisher, or he's a businessman, or whatever he is, and you're designing product for him that suits the purpose of what he's trying to do.
Well, not only the guy, the girl, the family, the grandmother, the children, the grandkids, and we're part of life. Yeah. So you know, the work life is only a short time. Yeah. The fun part's only a short time. So we want to do the lifetime. So
nice.
So for us, it's about providing an entity that someone's happy to stand for. Yeah. And happy to support. Yeah. And know that we're going to give back. Yeah. And we can only give back what we do through the support. So it's a cyclic type thing. And with that, the perpetual challenge is creating good products, because if that drops off, and or our culture or personnel dropped off, then that wouldn't be who we are. No. So we've got to walk the talk. Yeah. And that's not that hard if your culture's right.
What does it look like practically? Because I imagine, so I have this picture of a clothing brand. What they do is they send out their buyers out to the manufacturing hubs of the world, and they, you've got this new jersey or this new shirt or this whatever, and they buy it, as opposed to, your team just doing that, or are they going over and saying, we've got this hunter or this hunter's wife or this family or whatever, and we've got a specific product, and you're trying to get stuff designed specifically with, what does that look like?
The supply chain for us is at the very start. Is owned by ourselves. Right. And it's completely all the way through. Really? So we look after the whole thing. Yeah.
So it's you guys doing manufacturing?
The whole way through. Yep. So we'll run lines with our own team there.
Right.
Wherever the point of manufacture is, and we control that the whole way through.
That's awesome.
So we don't contract anything in the sense of, hey, can we have that product and for want of a better term, chuck a Stoney Creek logo on it. It just doesn't happen like that. So we build the threads, we build the fabrics, the layers.
Really?
We have them put together, and we have that run through our own team.
Wow.
Yeah, the whole way.
Amazing.
Obviously, we use manufacturing facilities to do that.
Yeah.
But it's all
you're
fully monitored in line with ourselves.
Right. And your in-house designers as well that are
Everything's
designing
in-house,
the actual, because your products they do look as if like they've been designed to meet as I say, a hunter or whatever, you know.
The biggest thing that we do that's potentially unique to us, and I can't speak that outside of other brands, I guess, but for us is that we have to understand and know who our end consumer is for that activity.
Yeah.
And now the good thing is that we do a lot of it ourselves. So we live life in an outdoor space, in a performance type of space. And so for us, we understand those rural activities or those flying activities or whatever it might be, you know. So we live and breathe that. And if we don't, we have people involved. Our search and rescue program that we're doing at the moment, that's been a 5-year project to date. We haven't launched it yet, so there's a bit of a scoop.
Wow.
And
this is aligned to search and rescue people.
That's all I'm going to say about it.
Okay, all right.
But what I'm trying to say there is that I'm not a search and rescue pilot.
Yeah, right.
Whilst I might be a civil pilot. So what we're using is we'll use a lot of the search and rescue teams throughout the country to understand what their requirements might be over what mine or other pilots might be. So for us, it's understanding and doing the due diligence on what that consumer really, really wants. And then we're saying, well, okay, how do we create purpose from it? And then how do we maximize the experience, which ultimately drops out the bottom better performance.
See, in my mind, for some reason, I'm thinking, as a marketing kind of guy, I'm thinking, man, you've just done some magical Instagram posts or whatever, you've somehow built this presence, but what you're saying, that's
they're all on my camera reel.
You know,
that's
right.
Like our team is just living life.
But it seems that the passion for your brand that the consumer has fallen out of you giving them what they want, and it's not just something that serves a purpose, it actually happens to look amazing and has an incredible quality at the same time.
I think the product, Stoney Creek brand, you know, firstly, a couple of my big pillars is functionality. So function is over aesthetic. So for us, you go purpose, functionality, aesthetics. And so that's not saying that aesthetics isn't important. But it's saying that functionality and purpose is more important. So we've got to do the due diligence and we've got to do the design that finds those two pillars before we worry about aesthetics.
Because the aesthetic is kind of a natural thing you're going to achieve, and you have to do that to be successful. Like, you know.
Yeah, everyone likes
it has to look all right.
You know, the fit-looking guy or the pretty-looking lady. But the reality is that, you know, you've got to have that functionality and that performance that drops out the bottom.
Well, that's awesome. What would be your... So if I'm thinking people who haven't experienced your brand before, this is maybe a challenging question because there's all sorts of different target market out there. Is there a particular range or product that you would say, hey, if you haven't experienced Stoney Creek before, check this out?
Oh, look, my answer to that would be whatever you think that you're missing within your pursuit and you want your experience to be bettered, look us up.
Oh, there you go. I love it.
So, you know, our big focus is that we won't give you a product that's the bearer of everything. So it's not going to tick all the boxes for everything because it just doesn't work like that, you know. And so to answer your question is that we've got so many categories and it really is difficult for me to say, hey, look, that's a golden egg. Now, if I could give you that, I haven't done my job well enough.
I think that's the right answer because even like we wear your shirts, all the Flair have your shirts, we wear that all the time. Then I got the jersey, you know, the Merino jersey's been on and off today as the colds come through, and then the rain jacket's on, you know, and
but then even the progression between what you're wearing and this product here. Now this one's a bit lighter, a bit more breathable, just changes, and that's just a couple of cycles difference. So technology is moving so quickly. That we, as well as the consumer, and we're all consumers, so we all want things to be better, and whilst we have our favourites, we still ultimately want, you know, And so for us, we've got to keep that journey alive and keep wanting
Yeah,
to
yeah.
better ourselves. So not only in the way we represent ourselves as a Stoney Creek person,
Yeah.
but the product has to keep evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say would have been the biggest challenge you've faced over the last, I don't know, 12 months, 3 months?
So our
Week?
greatest asset is
Yeah.
our people and product,
Yeah.
and our greatest risk is our people and product.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we get either of those wrong, that becomes a challenge. That's hard,
Yeah.
right? So the challenge around, the question around what's my biggest challenge is just maintaining that ethos and what you stand
Yeah.
for.
Yeah.
As you grow,
Yeah.
scaling up is that dream that everybody has.
Yeah.
But man, I'll tell you what, there's a whole lot of challenges that come with
Yeah.
scaling up,
man.
and so
'Cause
to be able to maintain that,
Yeah.
that's my challenge. Yeah.
I completely can empathise with that. Just the making getting the right people,
Yeah.
keeping the culture strong, keeping the product, having the right product, all the stuff you just talked about is keeping that running, because it would be so easy to drop the bar or just to do something different and lose the focus.
Yeah, and then when your company is fortunate enough to be multi-country,
Yeah.
and Flare Fires is doing that,
Yeah.
and so
It's so noisy. I don't know. I think we're fine to keep talking, but for those who can't hear it, it's just everything's going on. But
yeah, so when you start dropping into multi-country,
Yeah.
Your dream with Flare Fires is to have a perpetual vision that's consistent, right?
Yes,
and
absolutely.
you want the consumer that walks in America or wherever it may be,
Yeah.
as well as New Zealand, to get the same experience.
Yeah.
And have the same result, and sit back and relax at the end of the day and go,
yeah,
man, this fire is awesome, And
and that just doesn't happen. You actually have to make that happen, through
You've got to make it happen,
all
yeah.
the way through the
Yeah.
process.
Yeah.
Yeah. One thing you've mentioned a couple of times, Brent, is purpose and doing good.
yeah.
What does that look like for you guys?
What it looks like at the moment
Yeah.
is we want to clothe 100,000 kids that can't clothe themselves.
Wow.
We want to pull 100,000 kilograms or 220,000 pounds of rubbish out of the waterways,
Right.
and we want to support the rural health network. So for us to do that,
Right.
we've got to, that's a financial challenge.
Yeah.
So we've got to make sure the other side of the business is going
It's
very
going
well.
really well.
So
Yeah.
the community aspect and
Yeah.
the responsibility around that
Yeah.
is super important. So at the moment, that's what it looks like, but that doesn't mean that we hit 100,000 children
Yeah.
and stop. So
So it's going to drive your profitability goals so that you're able to do more good. It's going to drive performance, I guess, isn't it? When those are pretty lofty sort of.
we're pretty performance-based,
Yeah.
full stop.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a prerequisite of the output, or the performance,
Yeah.
or the success of that,
Yeah.
to be saying, hey, look, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
What do we stand for?
Yeah.
So, there's nothing worse than the Stoney Creek brand being a brand that preaches all this goodwill
Yeah.
and then just walks away and doesn't do it. So that's just something who we are. It's our DNA.
Do your staff connect to those things?
Oh yeah, fully.
Yeah. Because that's the challenge, right? Like, I know as a leader, you'll have a real strong sense of purpose.
Yeah.
And we all need, as humans, we need a purpose. Like, if we don't have a real purpose, we start to get lost and start to think about ourselves too much and all that kind of stuff. The challenge, I think, for any kind of leader is helping their staff to have they might just be turning up to pack boxes or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know what your staff do, but do you think they capture some purpose from your vision?
Well, it's the way that you treat your staff or your team or the members that help the whole brand be elevated.
Yeah.
So, or the whole company. So,
Yeah.
so they're all just cruising past in Stoney Creek. Yes, look.
That's also great. That's right.
Yeah. So for me, the student that's just finished wanting to do an internship in a warehouse or distribution facility
Yeah.
adds, and I say to them that you add value the day you come in.
Yeah.
You're giving us a 18 or 19-year-old's view on, what we do behind closed doors. You know, so the value that they add versus maybe an executive or a manager or whatever it might be, just adds their perspective on everything.
Yeah.
So for us, value added comes from new people, as importantly, and clear. It's probably more clear than our existing.
From the existing, just take it for granted. And,
So as you grow, I guess we're trying to find those little nuggets that keep challenging who we are.
And so just leaning in quickly, the doing good, the rural health, is that like a mental health thing for farmers?
Yeah, correct.
Right. Yeah. That's really, really interesting. So I know there's rural health programs in New Zealand.
Some very good ones.
Yeah.
Yes,
And so you're trying to contribute, be a part of that.
Yeah, so we support a suicide awareness campaigns and things like that, because the challenges with rural, and a lot of us have been there in that rural space, and it's a 24-hour grind or 24/7 grind. So 7 days a week, 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And it does not stop.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, in New Zealand, there's a young age demographic that is unfortunately, suicide's a problem. Right. So we want to help the preventative side of that.
Yeah.
And so supporting that's very much as important as looking after community welfare.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
And obviously they're a big part of your demographic, customer base as well.
The communities are, yes, and absolutely. And just going back to your question of, do the staff buy into it? Well, our team is our people. That's us. That's our brand. So the culture of Stoney Creek member is they get as many kicks and giggles out of as what I do. Awesome. So we just did a volunteer day in the Tauranga Marina to clean up rubbish out of the Tauranga Marina, and there was more staff there than we've ever had. So amazing.
What does it look like? Do you, in terms of when you talk about, okay, we're going to sell this many shirts or whatever, versus where, this purpose stuff that you're doing, what sort of, is it 50-50? Is it 80-20? Like what sort of?
Well, the unfortunate reality is that you've got to sell stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
To be able to do the numbers, to be able to do the good stuff, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So for us, it's going, well, how do we sell enough stuff to be able to do that?
Yeah.
So I'm not a real focused numbers. I am.
Yeah.
I am. I'm very dull in numbers, but I'm not a real, we need to do this today.
Yeah.
I'm about, we need to do our job correctly, and we need to stand for everything we stand for, and the brand and equity will do the rest.
Yeah.
So if we dilute that, then we walk away from it. Yeah.
Well, you definitely do it. I would say your brand presence in New Zealand. And I know you're in
our brand, because we're both wearing it. Mike.
Yeah, well, that's right.
Our brand,
and exactly. It really is. It's just sort of astounding to observe, and obviously that when you're trying to, when you look on at other businesses, you're just trying to pin them down. You're going to go, what was it?
You've done a pretty good job of pinning me down. Actually.
I don't know, but I can see now. I think this is really helpful to see your purpose and your intent behind it, and that design for purpose. In your whole sort of a way of approaching business. I think,
and I really appreciate your comments on Stoney Creek, and I think it's our life. Like it's sort of we've very much kept in our lane. Yeah. And we're really clear on who Stoney Creek is and what it wants to do. Yeah. And so for us, it's just going, okay, how can we do better? And I absolutely invite and love the fact that other companies and businesses will do the same. Like the tools that we have in our toolbox, and we'll go and service vehicles, or we might do whatever within the context of that toolbox. Yeah, it's clothing, apparel, outdoors. That's what it is. You know? And there's other businesses like yourselves can do the same. And so the more more alignment with that sort of well-being, so important for humanity, in my opinion. Yeah. So now that doesn't mean that we don't have to win. We've got to win games. Yeah. Like we've got to perform.
You got to perform. Yeah.
The commercial side of the Stoney Creek performance side is everything.
Yeah. And there's clothing brands everywhere. We can see probably 4 or 5 of them from here, all doing different things. And what you're saying is, and amongst all of that, you've just got to focus on your mission and purpose and be doing at best what you do, and not sort of worrying too much about what the others are doing.
Yeah,
but
and that's
also
not being disrespectful to other companies.
Yeah.
It's just being focused on who we are,
yeah,
what we do,
Yeah.
and how we do it, and don't waste energy on that.
Yeah.
You know, and I say that to our team regularly. You know,
that's wise.
just concentrate on who we are, do what we do well, and put your energy in that.
Yeah. We have a similar sort of, there's fireplaces all around us here, and there's always someone copying or, something to compare ourselves to, and it's always just that gentle reminder, hey, we just need to, this is what we do really, really well, just let's focus on that.
On that it's hard, and the purpose of this is that, we've had pretty much every competitor. This is where our show is.
Yes.
So we show it off.
Yeah, everyone sees it.
And everyone's seeing. We've got video footage of most of our competitors in our tents videoing product. Right. And you just and it unsettles you or the team.
Yes, it can. Yeah.
But you've got to sit them down and just say, hey, look, one, it's a pat on the back.
Yeah.
So accept that right now and then forget it and move on, and ignite something that makes you want to be better. And as hard as that is, because we're all human, right?
Yeah.
And you've got the same challenge with flare fires, that people want to be like this.
I've had to do that just in the last couple of weeks with one particular scenario, and very distracting to the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're all jumping online and checking it out and finding out about this thing.
Yeah.
This problem, this company, and you're just like, just forget about it. It's my problem. Don't worry about it. And we know what we're really good at is just keep moving forward. And
what they can't duplicate is you.
Yeah, that's right.
And so for me, our people and our culture.
Yeah.
If they duplicate our people and our culture.
Yeah, then you've got a problem.
Well, you've got a problem, but you've also got a great output, because I'll tell you what, we aren't stopping.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're going to do more good for humanity that we can within
love that.
Within what we can do.
Yeah.
And if that's being copied and duplicated, humanity is going to be better. So
exactly.
That's where we're at.
And that's a really bright vision of the future. I was saying this to someone today. I listened to the news for the first time. I watched some.
You were just looking to see a flare fire in the news, eh?
Oh yeah, it was just in the background. I was watching. But the media's just so negative, and everyone's just so uncertain at the moment. I feel like the world's ending and stuff, and you've kind of just got to. I just found that quite shocking, but you kind of sort of raise all above that and just go, no, the future's bright. We've got so much opportunity ahead of us.
We're so fortunate. Like we're so fortunate, and I think that, as long as you've got your health, and that's getting harder these days. You and I are both moving around.
That's right.
Because we've been standing for 3 or 4 days, but. As long as you've got your health and you start understanding that now, I wish I'd listened to people tell me about that a few years back.
Yeah, me too, man. Totally.
We're pretty fortunate.
Yeah, very
fortunate.
So,
I just got to enjoy. For me, one of the big factors for me is our work life.
Yeah.
A lot of time you spend.
Yeah.
So you got to enjoy it. You got to enjoy the people you're with.
Yeah.
They become your friends.
And you owe that to your staff, because they're there. Yeah. And so you want them to actually turn up to work and not get bullied, not feel like it's a place they don't want to be, to actually enjoy it.
Absolutely.
And all of that takes pretty strong leadership, because that doesn't just happen.
No, it doesn't happen. Yeah. It doesn't happen.
You've got to make it happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so Stoney Creek, so you're in, what markets are you in? So if people that are listening to this from overseas, where can they find you offshore?
So there's a beautiful thing called the internet.
Yeah.
So StoneyCreekOutdoors.com.
Yeah.
That's going to create a touch point somewhere, right? So that's pretty cool.
And you international ship, no drama.
Absolutely.
Anyway.
Okay. Other than we've got a little bit of a hiccup at the moment with these mighty tariffs.
Yes.
So
yes, I know about those.
Yeah. So we do send product every day to the US and other countries.
Yeah.
In fact, we did, I think it was a huge number. I'm going to get the exact number wrong, but a huge number of countries last year.
Yeah.
But predominantly the US is all through online, US and Canada.
Okay.
Australia, we're right through Australia.
Yeah.
And we're through the UK, warehousing in the UK. So UK, Scotland, England, and right through.
Yeah.
And obviously New Zealand,
and so there's gear for fishermen, there's gear for hunters, as you say, there's gear for businessmen, ladies, for
I
kids.
guess,
I've
yeah, I guess,
seen
yeah.
little
So
kids walking around in your gear.
we were the first brand to do a full purpose built product range for women, performance range,
Yeah,
and outdoor range, and that
Yeah.
was from skin to the outer layer.
yeah,
So I know quite a lot about the woman's anatomy now, and I
Right.
know how to deal with some of those conversations.
mate.
which
So
is-
do you go shopping for your wife then?
no, not at all. No. But I've definitely had some interesting conversations. But and then we go right from infant right through,
Right.
and obviously men's. But
Yeah.
the key thing for us is the categories.
Yeah.
So the executive category, so corporate wear,
Yeah.
is super important to us. So banks and
Yeah.
front of house right through.
Yeah,
We do that. We do high vis, so all your
right. Okay.
roading, commercial, forestry,
Yeah,
stevedoring.
Yeah.
So stevedoring right around the country and offshore.
yeah,
We do your hunting products, obviously all your high-end performance, technical premium products
Yeah.
for all different, not only vocations, but the weather.
Right.
And New Zealand is the playground for weather.
yeah,
So
Absolutely.
if it can perform here,
yeah,
it'll perform anywhere.
yeah,
So that's important. A
Yeah.
sport fishing category, so that's
Yeah.
sort of taking technology and performance back in where there's sun involved and
Right.
salt water and things like, and fresh water.
yeah,
And then our rural workwear, rural gear, and our trade and workwear gear or ranges are
Yeah.
huge too. So your builders, your tradies, tractor construction.
yeah.
So it's a fairly comprehensive offering in all categories. Yeah, rural and outdoor based.
Yeah. So just before we finish, talk more about some of the challenges. I think people think a brand just happens, a product just happens, business is just easy. I was talking to someone earlier today that actually, I think especially our kids, maybe us too, we go looking for happiness and easy, and we think it's easy, but I think a lot of the happiness comes from really hard things, and certainly business is full of hard.
Yeah.
Well,
business ownership's great because you remember you can have as much time off as you want. Remember.
Right, exactly, exactly, yeah.
So no,
Yeah.
which it was quite well. That's what's important for it to be your life because then
Yeah.
it's it doesn't feel like you're at work. But
That's so true. Yeah,
challenges are, as you say, like growing. Everything from whether it be a relational challenge,
Yeah.
Category challenges or new distribution or
Yeah.
countries or whatever it might be, have been, they've been great fun, but boy, they've been challenging as well.
yeah,
You asked me what one of my biggest challenges would be. It's without a doubt holding my Australian sales manager in my arms till he died.
right,
It's pretty big, We'd been on a big selling campaign.
Yes.
So we've been in Australia and we've been around all our stores and new business. And
yeah,
cutting a long story short, we'd put some big hours in,
yes,
but we always create these real cool experiences for our team back here,
Yeah.
back at home,
Yeah.
or Stoney Creek
Yeah.
Central, I guess.
Right.
And so this guy wanted to do the same for us. So he surprised us with a very cool hunt. And so we went hunting and did
in
some-
Australia.
in Australia
Right.
while we were there.
Yes.
And we were driving back from that 2:00 in the morning, and we'd had a couple of chickens actually on the side of the road. We'd stopped and it was 2:00 in the morning, had to feed a couple of chickens.
Yeah,
Driving home, and we were passing a road train. And so in Australia, they have a truck and trailer, but they'll have another one.
massive truck and trailer
Yeah,
units.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
So passing that truck and trailer, and legally,
Yes.
going past,
Yeah.
and the truck and trailer hit a cattle beast, and so
Shoot.
whacked the front of the truck, and it rolled off in front of us, and we went over the top of it and crashed.
Wow.
And so that was, pretty bad.
Yeah,
But we
Yeah, that sounds-
survived it. And so what happened was the farming side of us went, we can't leave this animal on the road because it'll kill someone.
yeah,
So myself and Gaki, which is Steve, my Australian sales manager, we climbed up out of the swamp that we'd ended up in.
wow, yeah,
And so we climbed up there and we started looking for this animal, and we found this animal, but in Australia, big long straights,
yes,
20 miles or more.
yes,
And lights coming, and this vehicle ended up, we were about, I don't know, 30 metres, 90 yards away from it, and this vehicle came through and hit us, and hit us dead square and hit both of us, and so we didn't have time to talk. We both got hit square on with a big bull bar,
Wow.
and got thrown a long way, and I was fortunate enough to survive, and Steve wasn't. Yeah, so Steve was.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, so I had
Was this recently?
this is 4 years ago.
Wow.
Yep, and so I held Steve in my arms till he
Oh.
died. Yeah,
Gosh.
and it's pretty rugged. So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
so
cool, man.
so when you start talking challenges, you always default to like you've got me now.
Oh,
But you default to like a product or a commercial
Yeah.
or a banking or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But you start losing people,
Yeah.
and if you go back to the start of even this conversation, the most important people in your team, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So 4 little kids.
Wow.
But what was cool was we did a massive fundraiser, and
Right.
we managed to generate a heap of funds from him. So that was cool for his family. But you know, that was tough.
Yeah.
That was rough.
Yeah.
And that's rough on every level. And so, so the biggest challenge, without a doubt,
Yeah.
is when you put so much effort into growing a culture and team,
Yeah.
and something just hits you from the side. And excuse the pun, but that's brutal, you know.
Oh,
And so yeah, so nothing
Yeah.
else even compares or
compares.
comes close. Yeah.
and I don't think you're right. I mean, people look at businesses.
I need that whiskey now.
Yeah, I know. We should have. We should have.
Yeah.
But people look at business leaders, and from the side, you can go, "Oh, he's just an ass." You know, it's all about the money. I was going to say the word asshole. I suppose I have done say that now. You know, I'm not saying you are, but
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
sense that it's just all about the money, that you don't care. And in reality, what you're saying, I can't relate to what you've just described, but I know that those moments when you're struggling with staff stuff, it's the hardest stuff to deal with, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
And not because you're an asshole, but because it's actually, you can't be successful. I think what you're saying is you can't be successful in business if you don't care for your people.
No, because you can't do it all yourself.
Yeah,
And so motivating your team to have the same or similar drive to you
yeah,
and passion
yeah,
is super important. So they've got to believe in you.
yeah.
And if they believe in you, that's 99%
That's
of
it.
it. So
Oh, yeah,
so you know, I implicitly trust my team.
yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for
So I
sharing
don't
that.
like losing them either. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you actually do have the practical challenge of replacing the guy as well.
Oh,
You know, and there's that.
I mean, I didn't want to bar of that country, and it was nothing against the country. It's
No.
just, you know, I just battled with the whole thing.
Yeah,
you know?
it's not a problem for you to solve, probably.
And you know, it's great that we've got a fantastic team there now.
Yeah.
But boy, you don't forget that in a hurry.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you do have obviously things like the tariffs and stuff, and you know, there's just ongoing sort of hard things to deal with. We obviously have that. We're sucking the tariffs up at the moment ourselves, you know, not passing them on. But how are you handling that?
Oh, we're in a real tricky position because we're very close to launching a fairly significant distribution in America.
Right.
So we're just going to wait.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're just going to hold and just wait. And you know, we've got American team that have flown over to field days.
yeah,
And they're here
yeah.
at the moment. And
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Fantastic.
But yeah, we'll just wait and just work it out.
Just work it out. Work it out. Yeah, that's the thing. We'll probably have to look at manufacturing there at some point, but
Just make sure you build a bit more space so we can chuck some Stoney Creek gear there.
Stoney
Yeah, be
Creek,
perfect.
exactly. Yeah. But that stuff, you just say it out loud and it sounds easy, but those are hard problems to work out.
They are problems, yeah, and I think, you know, you get a few grey hairs and you start working out that there's going to be another problem too,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
somewhere,
somewhere.
so it's just about managing it and understanding
Yeah.
how it works.
Awesome, man. Well, again, thanks for your time. Really
No, thank
appreciate
you.
it. So good. And
I've never been so comfortable in an interview, but is
There
it
you
because
go.
of the flare fire or what
Oh,
is
it's a bit of both, you know. If we had the whiskey, so next time we'll do another
exactly.
one sometime,
Yeah,
mate, and
yeah,
we'll
definitely.
have normally we're sitting down and we're just that's what the beautiful thing with fire is. It's just a good place to chat.
Yeah.
So
I could just imagine, the smell's awesome, I could just imagine a
but it'd make cooking.
couple of venisons on
Yeah,
there.
there
eh?
we go. Next time.
Yeah.
Next time. Awesome, man.
No,
Thank
awesome.
you.
That's
Appreciate
good,
it.
eh?